welcome to this week's episode of the Self-Improvement Project. I hope you've all had a great week, especially during the times where it's a bit darker throughout the day. I have an episode on the Hygge, if that's something that might help during this period. I recorded it just as the days were getting a bit shorter, further into autumn, beginning of winter, but always relevant at a time where you need to feel a bit cozy during the darker days. So I definitely recommend that if you're feeling like the darkness is getting to you. But today I want to talk to you a wee bit about what has helped myself upon reflection of spending days in lockdown. Now, to introduce the topic a wee bit more, or the system and idea, lockdown is something that we have not gone through enough as a species to know how to efficiently work with it. We have up days, we have down days, but there's no real system in place that we know that works effectively for us to be working optimally. So, having tried and tested different things, I've tried to come up with a system that works for me, that on top of everything else that we might be required to do, this can hopefully help ground us as well as alleviate some of the constraints of lockdown. Some descriptions of being in lockdown might include the likes of having constant distractions, feeling frustrated, feeling a little bit restless at that time. Because ultimately we're thinking of all the things that we could be doing, but we can't. But it all comes back to living and leading a simple life. This includes the likes of some of the things that I'm going to talk to you about today, because I believe that these three things that we can use, they can help us, not just during lockdown, but these can help us throughout our life. So I like to call it the 20-20-20 system. Now, this is a system because it's not something we're trying to achieve. It's something that we're trying to make a habit. We're trying to make it a part of our identity as such. And it's almost automatic when we do it. So these three things underpin our day. We can do them back to back. I like to use them as three different checkpoints in the day to help me gain clarity. So the first one is 20 minutes of meditation. Meditation is something that you might have heard of. You might have heard me speak about it before. And it is so important for our mental clarity that we meditate. Meditating for 1 or 2 minutes to begin with can be really important for us to allow and appreciate the power of breathing. How focusing on our breath and the messages that our breath, when we focus on it, allows to send to the rest of our body, especially our mind, the impact that can have on our well-being. It can make us feel happier. Because we've got that clarity, we sometimes become more creative. So 20 minutes of meditation, similarly to the other things that I'm going to touch on, is a slot of time you've put aside for it. So that 1 to 2 minutes that you maybe start off with builds into 20 minutes. Or that 1 to 2 minutes that you start off with means that the rest of that time, those 18 to 19 minutes that you're maybe not meditating at the start, you're using to reflect upon it. How does it make you feel? What ideas have you come up with? What things are you going to plan going forward based upon that meditation that you've just done? So using that block of time for meditation as a topic is our goal. The next 20 minutes is writing. Our words that we physically write onto a piece of paper is like an electricity current. I have never met a human being that has a incredibly clear thought that then can recall or relay that back a few days later. The only way we can do that is by writing it down when we have that idea or that thought. And there is a beauty and nostalgia when we revisit that, maybe when we've forgotten about it, when you're rereading what you've written maybe a few days or a few weeks before. However, there is a connection between you and the words that you write down that cannot be replicated through any other means. No other actions will replicate the feeling and the satisfaction and the clarity that you get out of that. So, similarly to the meditation, set aside 20 minutes to write. What I find is that I say I'm going to write for 1 minute. And by doing that, I start writing. And then I don't think about the time again. Sometimes I write for 20 minutes, sometimes I write for 5 minutes, but I've written more than I thought I would. All you need is a blank piece of paper and a pen. You don't need a question, you don't need a guide. You just need you, your thoughts, and a bit of peace. So that's my 20 minutes of writing, and my last 20 in the system is for exercise. Exercise is the number one benefit that you can make the most of. It is the best drug in the world. You get fitter. You become healthier. Similarly to writing, there's nothing that can replicate the feeling of exercise the feeling that you get from exercise mentally. The amount of ideas that are profound that I have got through exercise is important. It just makes you happier. So there's different things that we can do. Running can be good. I prefer lifting things. I've done both, and you get benefits of each. Going for a long run brings that satisfaction of continually doing it for a long time. The lifting side of things creates a short burst of energy, but also of satisfaction. So you get good feelings from both, but setting aside 20 minutes, whether that's getting ready to going out for a run, to finishing and having a little walk afterwards, or 20 minutes of breaking it up between lifting and resting, those are two places that you can potentially start. So that's my 20-20-20. I would love to hear your thoughts, your methods of how you would use that. Would you do them back to back? Or would you split them up into your day? It completely depends on your scheduling and your commitments through maybe work or family. But I would love to hear what works for you, because it might work for someone else. So thanks again for listening. I hope that's been beneficial for you, especially during this time where we're being required to remain in solitude for a wee bit more than we usually would. So again, hope you have enjoyed that, and I look forward to catching up with you guys all next time. Cheers.